Toilet training. Some people's environment makes it very difficult. I went to a lady a little while ago. She had a lovely kitchen, but there was a passage and a door at the end of the passage, and the puppy couldn't have access to that passage because he peed and pooed all over the place. So he had no way of knowing what to do when he wanted to go to the toilet. Other people have, in flats, they don't have any outdoor areas, so they have to use puppy pads, and I feel that means that you've got to do the job twice, really. Train him to the pad and then train him off the pad again. Ideally, it wants to be where there's a door leading out of the kitchen to the garden, and you've got a pen which you're putting him in when you're not watching him. Now, the main thing here is to go out often. You may not feel like it, but you need to do it every time he wakes up, every time you've fed him, every time he's been awake for a little while, every time he's been playing, every time someone's given attention. You're better to take him out too often rather than too little. Another tip I would say is, ideally, don't pick him up. Let him walk out so that you immediately teach him the route to the door. So he knows where to go, and very soon you'll find actually he goes and stands by the door and waits to be let out. So once you get him outside, you then need to let him know that you want him to toilet outside, not inside. So I think sometimes there's some confusion with puppies, because if they're rewarded for toileting, how do they know that it's only toileting outside that's a good thing, and that for some reason they don't know why they weren't rewarded when it was inside? So the reward is one thing. I would say that when the puppy goes outside, I would wait till he's just finished and then just pop a little bit of something tasty on the ground in front of him and say just gently, "Good boy." Because to begin with, you don't want to make it exciting. You don't want to stop him midstream or mid-poo, and so you need just keep it all quite quiet. At a later stage, you can worry about perhaps putting it on cue, having cue words while he does it, so that it actually spurs him on. And some people like to even find a designated place in the garden for him to go, but that's all later on. At the moment, it's a question of going outside, not inside. So the next thing, of course, is if he does go inside, too many people punish. They still rub his nose in it and they tell him off. And some people, even though they don't want to punish, they're so exasperated with the dog going again behind the sofa or up the stairs or so on, that they really get cross. And that can only make the puppy anxious. And, anxiety, what's it do? It probably causes him to drink more as much as anything, and that'll cause more toileting. So it's hard work. It needs to be done very, very frequently. He needs to have reinforcement for going outside. And if it's on grass, put the food on the grass. So you really are reinforcing, that is where I want you to go. You can gradually add some cue words like "be clean" or whatever your words are. And very soon you'll find that it does start to go. I'm wondering if there's anything else. Oh yes, what some puppies do, they go to the toilet. Well, they don't go, they go out. Then you give up, you're out there for ages, you give up, you come in, and then they do it almost immediately indoors. Now I'm wondering whether there is a reason for this, in that they like being out with you. So when they've toileted, you've said good, and you come straight in. And that's almost like punishing the puppy for going to the toilet outside. Maybe he thinks, oh, if I do go, then the fun's all finished. So what I would do is make a habit of not coming straight in. Don't stay outside, maybe have a little game, make it a nice thing. Once he's been, then come in. That's probably get around that one. But again, with all these things, these are all general things. There are so many specific variations with individual puppies. So yes, so if you would like to find something which is appropriate to your puppy, especially if you've left it a bit late and toileting indoors has really become a habit, then maybe you need a one-to-one session. Yes, and also when you clean it up indoors, of course, find some biological type thing to clean it with. What you clean it with can be quite important as well. Okay, right. Well, happy puppy toileting.